Welcome to EPJ Pathshala. Myself, Dr. Muhammad Nazrul Bari, associated with Department of History, Central University of Karnataka, Gulbarga. This module, here we will discuss about the Akbar policy, achievement and contribution made as a ruler of or emperor of the Mughal India. In the previous module, we had a discussion about the foundation of Mughal Empire, that too by Babur, and later on he was succeeded by his son Humayun. And we had a discussion about the contribution made by Sher Shah also. But now the full module will be dedicated to Akbar, his achievements, his legacy, and all the deeds what he did as a ruler in India. We have certain objectives here. First, to know the life and history of Akbar. Second, to list the challenges faced by Akbar after the death of his father Humayun. Third, to describe the events of Akbar's life and his administrative reforms. And the last, to know the contribution made by Akbar in the composite culture and religious tolerance in India. Now, in the introduction, Akbar is supposed to be one of the most popular and powerful ruler of Indian history. So, and he is equally respected in every sect and every people of every belief. Now, we will discuss about the childhood and early life of Akbar. Akbar was born as Abul Fateh Jalaluddin Muhammad Akbar, as his full name was there. He born on 15th October 1542 at the Rajput fortresses of Amarkot in Sindh to Mughal Emperor Humayun and his teenage wife Hamida Banu Begum. Actually, what happened when Sher Shah defeated Humayun, Humayun went on exile. In the meanwhile, when he was going to Iran, it was the Rana of Amarkot who allowed them, Humayun family, to stay back, and there only Akbar took birth. Akbar spent his childhood under condition of adversity and uncertainty as Humayun was in exile. Little Akbar was raised by his paternal uncle in Kabul, and due to which he spent most of his time in hunting, horse riding, playing sword and running, which made him a trained and skillful warrior. In 1551, Akbar was made the governor of Ghazni and remained till November 1554. When Humayun declared Akbar to be his heir apparent and assigned the governorship of Punjab in 1555, Akbar, after the death of his father Humayun, that too very uncertain death, he came into the power in year 1556, that too before 13 years of age. And it was Bairam Khan who was supposed to take care of him, Bairam Khan, who was the tutor, and he kept guiding Akbar from 1556 to 1560. The most important achievement of Bairam Khan was the Mughal victory in the Second Battle of Panipat, which marked the real beginning of Mughal Empire in India. Bairam Khan was a close friend of Humayun. By virtue of his wisdom, age and experience, was able to acquire a considerable influence over Akbar. But his day-to-day interference possibly does not like by Akbar. So in the year 1560, Akbar determined to take the full control of the government, and he was asked to go on Hajj. Akbar was able to emancipate himself from the haram influence also in 1562. Actually, there was a Mahamanga, a lady who fed Akbar when Akbar was a child, and that is why he had a great influence on Akbar's life, and her control over Akbar's day-to-day affairs, political affairs, also make Akbar angry, and finally Akbar himself keep her away from the politics of the state. Now the imperial policy of Akbar. Now Akbar, as a strong imperialist, according to Abul Fazl, who was a great friend of Akbar, his imperialism was also inspired by philanthropic motive that he desired to bring peace and prosperity to people suffering under the selfish misrule of petty princes. The political unification of the country and the establishment of an all-powerful central government with a uniform system of administration throughout the land become the ideals of the life. Akbar's career of military exploit, which started with the expedition to Malwa in 1560, and culminated in the conquest of Asirgarh in 1601, forms a glorious chapter in the military history of India. Now we will discuss the important conquest which made by Akbar. Now, second battle of Panipat, when the army led by Akbar and his mentor Bairam Khan, who defeated Hemu. Hemu was basically the commander-in-chief of the Adil Shah in the second battle of Panipat, and there, in a real sense, after the defeat of Hemu in the second battle of Panipat in November 1556, the Mughal Empire was established in a not only theoretical way but a practical way. After defeating Hemu, Akbar conquered Agra and Delhi. Now we will discuss the conquest of Malwa, Jaunpur, Chunar and Uzbek rebellion where Akbar faced during his period. In 1560, Akbar invaded Malwa and compelled its ruler Baj Bahadur to submit to his authority. In the same way, Akbar got the peaceful surrender of Jaunpur and Chunar from the land of the Afghans, while in 1564, Akbar sent a large army under the command of Asif Khan against the central Indian state of Gondwana, while its queen, Mother Durgavati, offered a most determined resistance against the Mughal forces. But after her death, Mughal forces entered into the city and occupied the larger part of Gondwana. In the same way, there was a Uzbek rebellion where Akbar sent his army and rebellion was crushed. Regarding the Akbar Rajput policy, which was followed a policy of reconciliation with the Rajput. He realized the value of Rajput alliances in his task of building up an empire in India. He was also impressed by the character of the Rajputs and their qualities, and they were the son of soil and were known for their bravery and faithfulness. He tried to secure and ensure the active cooperation of Rajput in all the activity. By his wise and liberal policy, he won the heart of most of them to such an extent that they rendered valuable services to his empire and even shed their bloods for it. Akbar was a very intelligent ruler and he realized it very fast that Muslim captured power from the Rajputs only. So until and unless Muslim will not have a good relation with Rajput, the Rajput will keep creating problem. So because of this, Akbar decided to have a very good and very cooperative relation, reliable relation with the Rajputs. They were very reliable friends till the end of his life. The next, Akbar ordered twofold policy toward the Rajput. In 1562, Akbar made his first pilgrimage to Khwaja Sheikh Moinuddin Chishti at Ajmer. On the way, he was received by Raja Bharmal of Amber, who offered him and submitted to Akbar. In 1576, Akbar sent under Man Singh a powerful force which confronted the Mewar on the field of Haldi Ghati, and the ruler of Mewar, that was Rana Pratap, was defeated in the Haldi Ghati battle. See, here we have to see Akbar was so intelligent that in spite of sending Muslim commander against Rajput Rana Pratap, a Rajput ruler, he sent a Man Singh, another Rajput, to fight against him. So that basically gives us idea about his diplomatic capabilities, in which in the battle of Haldi Ghati, Rana Pratap was defeated. Other important conquest made by Akbar was in the year 1572, Akbar sent an expedition against Gujarat and finally the ruler compelled to submit. The conquest of Gujarat brought his empire into contact with Arabian Sea, which became a very important because all the international trade was coming through sea route only, and after capturing the sea route or the important ports in Gujarat, the revenue became more and more for the Mughal Empire. Akbar's attention was next turned towards Bengal, whose ruler Daud Khan declared independence in 1576. While in 1581, Akbar occupied Kabul. Soon after, he made himself master of Sindh, Kashmir, Balochistan and Kandahar. Thus, the whole Hindustan, bounded on the north by Himalayas or in the south by Narmada, passed under the Akbar control. Having completed conquest of north, Akbar now directed his attention toward Deccan. We will discuss here the Deccan policy of the Akbar. In 1591, Akbar dispatched 4 diplomatic missions to Khandesh, Ahmednagar, Bijapur and Golconda to recognize his suzerainty and pay tributes. This was the tradition during medieval period. Powerful ruler, they used to send their messenger to the lesser known king if they will agree to accept him as a boss, it's well and good, otherwise they will have to fight with him. So in the same manner, Akbar sent his messenger to Khandesh, Ahmadnagar and Bijapur and Golconda. Finally, Raja Ali Khan, the ruler of Khandesh, offered to acknowledge, but the other rulers sent diplomatic replies politely rejecting the offer. The failure of the diplomatic mission led him to restore the arms. As a ruler, if I will accept the suzerainty of Akbar, I will have to pay tribute, I will have to pay the taxes to him annually. But if I am not accepting him, it means I am not under his control. Finally, only one state, Raja Ali Khan of Khandesh, accepted Akbar as his boss, while the three other, this politely rejected the offer made by Akbar. Now, Deccan policy. Ahmadnagar was ruled by Nizam Shahi dynasty. The death of its ruler Burhanul Mulk in 1594 followed succession disputes. There was a number of claimants. They wanted to be the king, they wanted to be a sultan in Ahmadnagar. These dissensions offered Akbar an opportunity for the conquest of Ahmadnagar when Akbar realized that there was internal dispute and this is the best time to attack on Ahmadnagar and captured it. In 1593, he sent two armies to subjugate Ahmadnagar by force. Ahmadnagar continued to resist the Mughal arms. Finally, Akbar overcome the valiant opposition of Chand Bibi and occupied Ahmadnagar in 1600. Chand Bibi, who advised peace with the Mughals, was murdered by a faction which was opposed to her policy. There was a two group in the Ahmadnagar court. One group was in favor of alliance with Mughal, while the other group, they do not want any kind of friendly relation with Akbar. While when Chand Bibi realized we do not have any option but to go and sign a peace pact with Akbar, the other group basically hatched a conspiracy and Chand Bibi got killed. Ahmadnagar continued to resist the Mughal arms and the entire kingdom was not annexed to the empire till the reign of Shah Jahan. Now, next important principalities in Deccan was Khandesh. Raja Ali Khan of Khandesh, who already accepted the Akbar as his boss, but after his death, his son Mian Bahadur Shah repudiated the Mughal authority and prepared to defend himself in his strong fortresses of Asirgarh. Akbar took Burhanpur, its capital, and laid siege to the mighty fort of Asirgarh, which was well provided with artillery and warlike stores and provisions. The siege continued for a long time and Akbar was unwilling to prolong it as his son Salim was rebelled against him. Salim, who later became Jahangir, he rebelled against his father Akbar. So Akbar do not wanted to spend more and more time in the affair of Khandesh. So wanted to finish the affair or end the affair as soon as fast and wanted to go back to resolve the issue of Salim rebellion. Akbar resorted to bribery and conceit for the fulfillment of his object. In 1601, Khandesh was annexed, Mian Bahadur was taken prisoner and he was sent to Gwalior. Prince Danial, he was another son of Akbar, he was appointed as a viceroy of Deccan. Now through the map you can get an idea that this much area was controlled by Akbar. Akbar's career of conquest spread over 40 years beginning with the expedition of Malwa in 1560 to the conquest of Asirgarh in 1601. His authority came to be acknowledged over the whole area from the border of Kabul on the west to Bengal on the east, from the Punjab to the north to Khandesh on the south. Now the important achievement or the important policy that was religious policy of Akbar, which we will discuss in great detail. Akbar attempted to establish a national religion common to all by bringing together the sublime principles and ideals of various religions. Akbar established or constructed a building at Fatehpur Sikri and that was known as Ibadat Khana, house of worship, in 1575. The idea behind the construction of Ibadat Khana was to invite the scholars mainly from the Muslims and they will discuss while Akbar will sit and Akbar will learn out of their discussion. Because Akbar was basically become the king or the emperor of Mughal Empire before achieving the age of 13. So Akbar was not educated one, Akbar was not much literate because during his childhood he was taken care by his maternal uncle while his father Humayun was in exile in Persia. So Akbar had a lot of interest in religious affair. He wanted to improvise his knowledge regarding religion. So he established Ibadat Khana in 1975. Initially, he invited Muslim scholar, and the Muslim scholar they used to discuss the important religious affairs. And Akbar used to sit, Akbar used to learn out of their discussions. Initially, that Ibadat Khana was for the Muslim. Later on, it was open to the Jain, Hindu, and even the Christians also. Many important scholars of all three religions were invited. It is also said that Akbar introduced a new religion, Deen-e-Ilahi. It was not a Deen-e-Ilahi, it was a Tawheed-e-Ilahi, the unity of being in 1582, which combined the practices of Islam, Hinduism, Jainism, Christianity, and Zoroastrian. Actually, the word Deen-e-Ilahi appeared almost around 1670 in a book that was titled Dabistan-e-Majahib, while initially it was Tawheed-e-Ilahi. Other important achievement of Akbar's religious policy was he abolished precarious practices of enslaving the prisoner of war and converting to Islam. During medieval times, there was a system that if an enemy king will capture the defeated army, they force them to convert into their own religious belief. So Akbar basically put a full stop. Akbar was not in favor of all this kind of forceful conversion. So he said no to this and he abolished the practices. Akbar also abolished the pilgrimage tax in year 1563 on Hindu pilgrimage. There was a tradition during medieval period called the Hindu people, those who are going on a pilgrimage, they used to pay tax to the ruler. So in 1563, Akbar abolished that particular kind of tax that was collected mainly from the Hindu pilgrimage tax. He also abolished jizya in 1564. That jizya was basically a tax which was mainly on the Hindus. He also removed all other restrictions relating to the public worship of non-Muslims, including the building of temples and churches. He also allowed his Hindu queen to install and worship images of his own palaces. Akbar was a very liberal man, liberal emperor. Whenever he used to allow the princes of Rajput family in his own palaces to follow their own religion, and that princes they used to have their own temple even inside the religious palaces. Akbar also, because of the influence of Hindu belief and practices, he started a Jharokha Darshan and Tuladan. Jharokha Darshan was basically a system which was made popular by Akbar in India, and that was continued and later on followed by number of other Mughal rulers. Finally, it was stopped by Aurangzeb. Jharokha Darshan was basically a system through which king used to come and sit into the balcony, where the local people, the common people, they used to get the blessing. They used to see the king from the downstairs, and they had a belief that they will get some good thing out of it. While Tuladan was a system in which one side of the weight machine, king used to sit, while the other side, it was a coins made of silver or copper of equal weight was put on the other side, and that coins was distributed among the needy and poor people. He also established the office to translate the religious scripture of Hindu religion from Sanskrit to Persian. Akbar basically established a system in which most of the ancient religious texts, including Mahabharata and Ramayana, that got translated into Persian, that too in illustrated way. His religious tolerance was based on his belief that there is a truth in every religion. Akbar also formed certain regulations, such as people of all faith, that is Muslims, Hindu, Christian and Jains, were allowed to construct buildings for purpose of their worship, to propagate faith peacefully and celebrate religious affairs and festivals. State services were open to people of all faith at the time of Akbar, while uniform taxation system was applied to all citizens, as it was the new invention of Akbar, and no social distinction was to be observed among the people on the basis of differences of their religious belief. Now, regarding the Akbar contact with other religious people, other religious belief, there was a Purushottam and Devi. They instructed Akbar about the secret of Hinduism. They only taught about the basic tenets of Hindu religion. While Jain teacher Hira Vijaya Sen Suri and Bhanucharya Upadhyay exerted the considerable influence on Akbar. Due to the influence of Dastur Maharji Rana, the religious head of Parsi at Navsari in Gujarat, Akbar adopted many practices of the Zoroastrians. The first Jesuit missions from Goa arrived at Fatehpur Sikri in February 1580. Akbar also regarded the Adi Granth, Sikh religious book, as a volume worthy of reverence. Akbar remained a staunch Sunni Muslim between 1556 to 1562. Akbar practiced the tenet of Islam as a practicing Muslims, prayed 5 times a day, kept fast in the holy month of Ramadan, and honored the ulemas of Islam. Akbar's religious policy of harmony, reconciliation, and the synthesis among all religions developed after listening the different religious ideas, mainly after the establishment of Ibadat Khana at Fatehpur Sikri in year 1575. Akbar was deeply interested in religion and philosophy and listened very carefully not only the argument of Sufis and Shia divines, but also the scholar of other religions also. Badayuni, who was supposed to be the man working inside the court of Akbar, what he said about Akbar, as a result of this discussion, a rock-like conviction grew into the emperor's mind, and that in all religions there are good people. If true religion can be attained in all religions, then it is not correct to say that there is a truth in only one religion and that other religions are false. Inspired by such thought, Akbar adopted a new policy, Sulah Kul, peace with all. This was the policy of amity between all, a total peace, harmony, peace between all religions and community. According to famous historian Dr. Tara Chand, his Sulah Kul policy was a product of the synthetic effect of Vedanta and Sufism. Now we will discuss about the important administrative achievements made by Akbar. Regarding Akbar administration, Akbar introduced a system of central government which was based on a system that had evolved since the Delhi Sultanate, but the function of the various departments were carefully reorganized by laying down detailed regulation for their functioning. Akbar divided his empire into 15 administrative units known as Subas, that was Delhi, Agra, Ajmer, Lahore, Kabul, Multan, Ahmedabad, Ahmednagar, Malwa, Khandesh, Berar, Allahabad, Awadh, Bihar and Bengal. He placed a governor named Subedar in charge of each Suba, and each Suba was divided into a small administrative unit known as Sarkars, and the in charge of the Sarkar were known as Faujdar. The revenue department was headed by Wazir. Wazir was responsible for all finances and management of Jagir and Inam lands. The head of the military was called Mir Bakshi, or Mir Bakshi was the commander-in-chief of the army. Mir Bakshi was in charge of intelligence gathering and also made recommendation to the emperor for military appointment and promotions. While Mir Saman was in charge of imperial household, including the harams, and supervised the functioning of the court and royal household. Mir Saman was supposed to be a very reliable man of the king because he was in charge of royal palaces, who will come, who will go, personal bodyguard, everything was basically controlled by Mir Saman in the royal haram, inside the royal palaces. So the man who was appointed as a Mir Saman was supposed to be the very reliable man of the king. The judiciary was a separate organization headed by Chief Qazi, who was also responsible for religious belief and practices during Mughal India. Now here we will discuss about the revenue administration of the Akbar. Akbar set about reforming the administration of land revenue by adopting system that had been used by Sher Shah Suri. He also introduced the system of paying his officers in cash instead of granting them Jagir. Reorganized the revenue administration system with the help of Raja Todarmal, and he also made a thorough and minute survey of all land. Akbar classified land under 3 heads according to their fertility, while Akbar also fixed the revenue of 1/3 of the gross produce. Akbar allowed land tax to paid either in kind or cash. During medieval period, there was a system that you can pay your tax, land tax or the land revenue in cash or kind. There was an option given by Akbar also. Now regarding the military organization, Akbar organized his army as well as the nobility by a system called Mansab. Under this system, each officer in the army was assigned a rank or Mansab and assigned a number of cavalry that he had to supply to the imperial army. The Mansabdar were divided into 33 classes. The top three commanding ranks, ranging from 17,000 to 10,000 troops, were normally reserved for the princes or the royal blood, or direct relative of the emperor. Other rank between 10 to 5,000 were assigned to the other members of the nobility. Each Mansabdar was required to maintain a certain number of cavalrymen and twice that number of horses. Now, the trade which developed under Akbar. Akbar encouraged traders, provided protection and security for the transition, and levied in a very low custom duty to stimulate foreign trade. Law and order is the very important part to promote trade in any part of the world. So Akbar assured it that law and order should be good, so the traders can send their material from one place to another place without the threat of robbery and plundering. In order to minimize the theft and robbery incident, bands on highway police called Rahdars were enlisted to patrol roads and ensure safety of the traders. Akbar also made efforts to improve roads to facilitate the use of wheeled vehicles through the Khyber Pass, the most popular route frequented by traders and travelers in journeying from Kabul into Mughal India. Now, the important coins issued by Akbar himself. Akbar introduced coins with the decorative floral motifs, dotted borders, quatrefoil and other types. His coins were both round and square in shape with a unique mihrab shaped coin highlighting numismatic calligraphy at its best. But the most important coins issued by Akbar was Ramsiya coins. Tulsidas, when Tulsidas was staying in Ayodhya and writing Ramcharitramanas, Tulsidas was contemporary to Akbar. When the popularity of Tulsidas reached to Akbar, Akbar wished to meet him. Akbar wanted to meet him. When the messenger of Akbar reached to Tulsidas, King Emperor wanted to meet you at the capital city, Tulsidas said, I am a common man, I do not have much idea about the politics, so better leave me here. I am a common man, I will not prefer to, if it will be in my hand, I will not prefer to go. So Akbar, inspired by the simplicity of Tulsidas, and he issued the coins of gold. On one side it was God Rama and Goddess Sita was printed on the coins, while the other side it was a inscription or the legend. Because Ramcharitramanas was the book that deals with the Lord Rama itself, and that was written by Tulsidas. Now we will discuss about Akbar diplomacy. Akbar, as I told you, he was not an educated one, but he was very intelligent. He knew the things, how to get done the things. In spite of keeping distance with the Rajput, he has started a new system that was matrimonial alliances with the Rajputs. So Akbar's policy of matrimonial alliances marked a departure in India from previous practices, in that the marriage itself marked the beginning of a new order of relations. Rajput relatives were made member of his court, and the Rajput lady married to the Mughal family were generally provided full religious freedom, and their relatives, who continued to remain Hindu, formed a significant part of the nobility and served to articulate the opinion of majority of the common populace in the imperial court. Akbar never forced any of his Hindu or Rajput queens to accept Islam. That was the beauty of Akbar rule. Now here we will discuss about the achievements of Akbar as an emperor of Mughal India. Now the Mughal Empire extended to most of the Indian subcontinent, stretching from the Himalayas in the north to the Vindhyas in the south and Hindu Kush in the northwest to Brahmaputra Valley or Brahmaputra River in the east. Akbar laid foundation for a new capital city in the west of Agra in 1569, which was renamed Fatehpur, Town of Victory, and subsequently came to be known as Fatehpur Sikri. However, the city of Fatehpur Sikri was abandoned and the capital was moved to Lahore in 1585. While in the year 1599, Akbar shifted his capital back to Agra, from where he ruled until his death. Now, as I told you, Akbar was one of the most popular king of medieval India. So here Here we will discuss about his legacy which he left and which still continue in 21st century. Akbar became seriously ill on 3rd October 1603. He was suffered from a serious dysentery and finally he died on 25th October 1605. He was buried in mausoleum at Sikandra. Regarding his legacy, we can safely point it out. Akbar was one of the greatest among the Mughal rulers. He was one of the most reputed and powerful ruler of the world. Len Pohl, who is a popular historian, described him as the noblest king that ever ruled in India, the true founder and the organizer of the empire. His rule represents golden age of the empire. While B.A. Smith is another important historian who wrote about Akbar, what he said about Akbar was a born king of men with a rightful claim to one of the mightiest sovereign known to history. That claim rests surely on the basis of his extraordinary natural feats, his original idea and his magnificent achievements. Akbar possessed an attractive and imposing personality. He was an obedient son, it is said a lovable husband and a generous father. Akbar also possessed many human virtues because of which Lai accepted the welfare of his subject as one of the primary responsibility and most generous towards poor and weaker section of the society. He was a daring soldier and capable commander. He proved his courage and determination in many battles. He also proved himself as an innovator in many fields of administration. The religious and Rajput policy Akbar was one of the best innovation of medieval India. Akbar's legacy of religious tolerance, firm but fair control, central control and liberal tax policy that gave commoners a chance to prosper established a precedent in India that can be traced forward in thinking of later figures such as Gandhi. His love of art led to the fusion of Indian and Central Asian Persian style that came to symbolize the height of Mughal achievement in forms as varied as a miniature painting and grandiose architecture. Akbar is also honored more than 4 centuries after his death as one of the greatest rulers of human history. Akbar has been regarded as the national king. His popularity in 21st century may simply understand that several international novels are based on his life, including the Years of Rice and Salt, the Solitude of Emperor, and then Enchantress of Florence. Including that, we have number of TV serial based on the Akbar life history, which was telecast on national media in India, that was Akbar Birbal story, and then Jodha Akbar, that was telecast on Z News. In the same way, there was a very popular film of 1960s, Mughal-e-Azam, and 2008 there was a film Jodha Akbar was also made on the life history that also deals with the life history of Akbar. At the end, we can safely say that Akbar was one of the most powerful and popular king of Indian history. And not only that, he was equally popular in every religious belief. The contribution made by Akbar is that he equally treated to the people of every religion, never had a hostility or any kind of enmity against any religious belief. Hindu, Muslim, whosoever was working under him, they got equal opportunity under him to got promoted. Birbal, who are supposed to be very close to him, even Todarmal, who are supposed to coin the idea of the Shala system, or he was the man behind the revenue arrangement made under the Akbar. So in short, he was a national king, and the idea of India, the idea of composite culture, the idea of communal harmony, which was promoted during the time of Akbar, it is still very much needed in 21st century. For more detail, you please see the e-text of EPG Pathshala. Thank you.